These sides met in a qualifier for the 2024 ASEAN Championship. It was Timor-Leste that came out on top, a 1-0 aggregate win over the two legs. In fact, that was the last time they played here in Brunei, winning a single goal. Here are the teams. Brunei makes 6 changes to their lineup from last time out. Haziq, Afi, Alanur come into the back 4. Hafiz Herman is the lone survivor in midfield. They play 3 up front. Yura Yunus and Abdul Azin among them. Rashid wins his first cap. Well, Timor-Leste are starting what they hope will be a new regime, but they come up against a side with many changes tonight. Mohamed Ali Mustafa is the man that's in charge of them at the moment. Only took over a few weeks ago. He's the under-17 coach. In fact, he only took over a few days ago. As someone who's been involved in the national team setup for quite some time. Match officials today. Referees Aman Al-Kashar from Singapore. Singapore and Malaysia provide the 2 assistants. Jumpoon Vivat from Thailand is the 4th official. And we have VAR to back up the officials as well. Pashri Mongkol Chai, also from Thailand, looking after the VAR tonight. Well, here's the Timor-Leste lineup. As we said, wholesale changes for them as well. Keeper Dylan Niski wins his 3rd cap. There's a debut for Eric Silva. The back 4 have just 5 caps between them. Thiago da Costa is the captain. João Rangel wins a 4th cap. Zion Cruz and Gustavo Mota make up the front 3. Top scorer João Pedro is missing from the squad tonight due to an injury. Be interesting to see how Zé Pedro's side start up this game. There are the options available for both teams on the bench tonight, the remainder of the 23-man squad. Just 1 player from each team left out of those substitute places. There is Mohamed Ali Mustafa. So he is also the under-17 coach as well. He gets the job of leading Brunei Darussalam in this qualifier tonight. Has been assistant coach to the national team. He's actually assistant coach to Fabio Maciel, the former coach. Both sides coming into this fixture on the back of 4 straight defeats in Asian Cup qualification. Jose Pedro Alves Salazar, or Zé Pedro as he's more commonly known, is the man at the helm of Timor-Leste, and he was born in Portugal, had a good career playing as an attacking midfielder in Portugal. Now moving into coaching pretty soon after his playing career finished. And we're underway. It is Brunei in the yellow, kicking from left to right in this first half. So new looks for both these teams tonight. Timor-Leste have been training in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia for the last few days. They will play the second leg there at the KL Stadium next. Looks for both these teams tonight. Timor-Leste have been training in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia for the last few days. They will play the second leg there at the KL Stadium next Tuesday. Fortunately, the national stadium in Timor-Leste doesn't come up to standard, but they will be going back to KL in a couple of days to begin their preparations over the weekend in what they hope will be a 2nd consecutive appearance in this competition. Of course, newly named the Hyundai Cup for the coming season. Vietnam winning 2 years ago. They beat Thailand in the final. It's played by Gustavo, who just managed to hurdle that challenge. Be interesting to see how these new players settle into this lineup. Ryan John starting at left back. Quite interesting the way these sides are broken up as well in terms of where the players come from. For Brunei, 6 of the players are representing DPMM, who play in the Malaysian Super League for Kasuka. While 4 Australian-based players in the Timor-Leste lineup. A couple from Portugal, England, Ireland and Singapore also represented in this Timor-Leste lineup tonight. There's a slip by Gustavo. He seemed to lose his footing, but the referee deciding it was a foul by Harris. So just 1 goal in it when these sides met 2 years ago. Played out some big results in the past though, 36 goals in games between the 2 teams. Back in 2022, Brunei won 6-3 on aggregate to qualify for the edition that year. Nudging the back of Luis Figo. Jackson Pereira. Farigia. John. No top scorer for Timor-Leste in their lineup today. João Pedro, who only needs 1 more goal to become outright the leading scorer. Bit of an injury, which keeps him out. There's a foul on Farigia. Gustavo over the free kick. Farigia over there with him, already making a bit of a nuisance of himself. Gustavo Mota, who plays for Tanjong in Singapore. Whipped in Gustavo. Half shot on the turn, which wasn't really caught cleanly. Comfortable for Hamey in the Brunei goal. Have to go back almost 12 months to find Brunei's last win, a 2-1 win over Bhutan in that Asian Cup qualifying campaign. It was their only win in the campaign. Similarly for Timor-Leste, who ironically on the same day won their last match, a 1-goal victory over the Maldives. Brunei were beaten 9-0 by Yemen in that competition. Both sides played back in March their final games. Brunei beaten by Bhutan, Timor-Leste beaten by the Maldives, who both sides getting their own back for their earlier defeats. Haziq. Played into the line for Harris to give chase. Ryan John under a little bit of pressure, did well though. Another challenge on Gustavo, which has left him on the deck. He's already had a couple of strong challenges on him, the number 11. Yeah, just a clumsy challenge really on Gustavo. No question it was a free kick. That's gone out of play before Ikwan could hammer it forward. Almost playing a 5 at the back at times here, Brunei, with Hanif dropping back to almost be a third centre-back alongside Ikwan and Afi. Because with so many changes from both these teams, very difficult to be able to scout these sides looking back at their previous matches. Timor-Leste have actively been trying to integrate 1 or 2 of their Australian-based players who qualified for Timor-Leste through maybe one side of parentage. Not too many teams below them though. Brunei Darussalam coming in FIFA 193 in the rankings, the new ones back in April, while Timor Leste are 200th, only 11 teams below them in the current FIFA rankings. Ali Nur. Ashraf trying to get on the end of that one. That's played through towards Harries. Should just reach Niski in goal. Ball over the top for John once again, looking for Zion Cruz. Just about cleared away from danger in the nick of time by Brunei. Harries. There's Hazik. Another ball into no man's land, easily shepherded away by Ryan John. It's Ferrugia's throw into Zion Cruz, kicked forward by Gustavo. Is Osorio. Once again comfortably tidied up by the brilliantly named Luis Figo. It's only 19, Luis Figo, but he's winning his 9th cap tonight. Timor Leste was picked up as a potential for the international team at a very young age. 3 years ago made his debut against Chinese Taipei. There's another long ball over the top. Early ball in, hooked away by intervene. Come on. Ashraf with the short corner to Azim. That's a looking ball in. Eric with a header away. Still bobbling around. Jackson Pereira with a header. The referee spotted an infringement. Rangel thought he was in a bit of clear space then, but the whistle went. Still goalless, nothing clear cut in the opening minutes here. As both sides will be mindful that there is another 90 minutes to come. Here's Thiago, the captain. And now Ferrugia. Gustavo. Ferrugia. Timor Leste happy to go back into their own half. Ryan John. Jackson Pereira. Luis Figo outside him, trying to play that little give and go with Rangel. Might still be a chance for Timor-Leste to make something of this. Ferrugia. Gustavo. Well, just stumbled slightly. Still managed to get reasonable power behind the shot, but he was straight at Jaime in goal. First shot on target from Timor-Leste. Fairly comfortable save by the goalkeeper in the end, but it was a well-worked opening as well by Timor-Leste. Patient with the passing. And eventually it was Gustavo that got the shot in. Has scored just one international goal. Right, John under a little bit of pressure again. Just a slight stumble there by Harris. Solid challenge by Thiago, which has gone unpunished by the referee. Rangel. Sion Cruz in the middle. Makes his move now. Might have been offside there. Keeper comes out and manages to make the save, and now the flag does go up. Now the first instinct is often the right one. Sion Cruz just straying beyond the last man. Of course, the flag tends not to go up immediately these days. May just have injured himself slightly there. Jaime Nairing, one of the DPMM players in the Brunei side. The coach doesn't look too happy with things at the moment, Mohamed Al-Mustafa. Here's the shot, you'll see again. Yeah, clearly offside. Of course, we do have VAR just in case, but the assistant referee got it right on that occasion. Not too long to wait for the next edition of the Hyundai Cup. Once the World Cup has finished, 24th of July, the first game, Cambodia against Singapore. There's a foul by Osario, which is going to earn him a... Oh, it's not Osario, actually, it's Ferrugia. That's just getting a telling off from the referee. There Pedro just looking on. It was almost right in front of him, the challenge, but he'll be pleased that his side are competing physically here. But Ferrugia, eyes on the ball, but it was just that arm that caused the damage. Aziki's back on his feet. I was about to say that the winner of this qualifier going to Group A, which is a really tough group actually, Vietnam, Indonesia, Singapore and Cambodia. It's good for football fans in this part of the world. You've got a month-long World Cup, and then you've got a month-long Hyundai Cup as well. It really is a footballing summer. No real breaks before the league gets underway again in August and September. Osario. Cleared away, no nonsense from you. Both sides have got debutants in. The Brunei number 8, Abdul Azim Abdul Rashid, is also making his debut. Actually his first call-up as well to the national team. Luis Figo. It's that patient build-up we've already seen in the opening quarter of an hour from Timor-Leste. Another strong challenge, which may have been alerted by the fourth official. The referee was a little bit of a way away from that. Thiago brought down Might have been a no more message from the referee on Haziq. Faruja. Gustavo. A little bit of space to work into here, Gustavo. Shot on the turn from Rangel was blocked, and now Brunei with a chance to break. Rangel looks to recover the ball again. No foul, says the referee. Almost slipped through for Zion Cruz. Luis Figo. Got to the byline, but shot was blocked. But Brunei failing to get the ball clear, and Timor Leste very nearly capitalising.
Yeah.
11 times these sides have met previously. Brunei 6 wins, just the 1 draw. That was the second leg of the tie in 2024. Timor Leste winning 4 of those matches. Brunei have won 5 of their 6 games here as well at home. But they'll be looking to take a lead into the second leg. There's the corner in towards Zion Cruz. Gustavo just nudged out of the way but recovered well. Looks a very lively player, Gustavo. Luis Figo. Gustavo, nicely taken again. Little chip forward towards Zion Cruz, who felt he was nudged in the back, but referee saw nothing wrong with it. Good defending, good covering by Brunei. Ikhwan and Afi at the back. Good distribution by Jaime as well. Azim. There was a foot left in there, was the by Osorio. Azim, the debutant, is left probably needing a bit of treatment here. Timor Leste sportingly put the ball out of play. Again, the referee saw no foul on Azim. A chance for the players to take on some water here. It's still very hot and humid, around about 30 degrees still. Even though it's approaching 20 to 9 in the evening local time. Here's the challenge again on Azim. Well, I think it was just one of those block challenges, really. It looked... There was no malice in it from Osorio. It's just almost like the ball got caught between the feet and Azim came off worst. Well, that seems okay. We'll have to leave the field, of course, just for a few moments. Interestingly, there's a lot of new rules that have been introduced by the IFAB, the rules body that will be applied at the World Cup. Mainly, a lot of them to cut out time wasting and things like that. They won't be applied here. But I think when the World Cup starts in a few days' time, we are going to see time wasting very much clamped down on by referees, and of course that will spread through the game over the next few months as the new seasons get underway. Ryan John. Gustavo again. Well, that's given away cheaply, and a bit of space here for Rangel. Zion Cruz trying to get away from his man, needs to stay on side. Luis Figo down the outside. Well, blocked by Afi. Well, Brunei guilty of giving the ball away in a dangerous position there. It fell perfectly for João Rangel. Man who plays his football for a club called Leste, which is in East Anglia in England. Another corner to Timor-Leste. Ferrugia across to take it. Still goalless. Timor-Leste have looked the more likely if we were going to get an early goal scorer in this. Gustavo with the only shot on target, which was straight at the goalkeeper. Ferrugia's corner over everybody. Eric had come forward. He was the furthest man, but even that was over him, just over hit by Ferrugia. Brunei only played their first international back in the early 1970s. Their two biggest wins have actually come over Timor-Leste. They played them in Kuching in Malaysia 10 years ago and won 4-0. And then a 6-2 win coming here in that qualifier in 2022. This looks like a much more organised Timor-Leste side, though. Came here and were difficult to beat. Last time out, their appearance in the final didn't go as planned. They lost 10-0 to Thailand in their first game. Beaten by Malaysia, Singapore and Cambodia, finishing bottom of the group, Timor-Leste. And they've got another chance here to put Jaime's goal under pressure with a free kick. Again, it'll be Ferrugia that will take the free kick. Brunei trying to hold a high line, but it's just around the penalty spot at the moment. All about the timing to the run in the middle as well. In it comes from Ferrugia. That's a good header away. And corner prevented. Well defended by the home team. Luis Figo, Rangel, there's Thiago, all the way back to Daniel Niski, who's a long way out of his goal. Ryan John, Ferrugia, and Jackson Pereira. Gustavo again making himself available. He's seen a lot of the ball in the opening minutes. Gustavo trying to get to the byline, stabbed away by Ashraf for a corner. Good defending again by Brunei. Can they make a corner from this side? Count first one from this near side for Timor-Leste. 5 players inside the penalty area. And it's just flicked away from danger. Did well to get round his man. Can't get it past Hanif. Now Brunei looking to break. Harris. I didn't move the ball forward a little bit faster. Then there were 3 players in advanced positions, but they opted to go backwards, and that's a wasteful ball. You can hear the groans around the stadium as that went all the way through to Daniel Niski. Dylan Niski, rather. Osorio. Now Rangel, Farrugia. Just seem a little more comfortable on the ball as well. A bit of confidence about their way they're passing, and so they have had quite a good training camp ahead of this. Rangel, almost in behind, plenty of yellow shirts back behind the ball. Rosario. Rangel! Oh, lovely finish! And the pressure is finally told for Timor-Leste. João Rangel, the man from Leeston in England, gets his second international goal. His only other one came against the Philippines, and he's put Zé Pedro's side in front here in the first half, and you'd have to say, on balance of play, they do deserve the goal. Set himself, opened his shoulders, and just bent it around Jaime. That's a really good finish. And Brunei, as they did when they last met Timor-Leste here 2 years ago, find themselves trailing by a goal to nil. That goal proved to be the winner then. It's only his fourth international appearance for João Rangel. There's a lovely move though. Just turned, and lovely ball played forward onside, and just flicked it almost beyond the goalkeeper. You can see what it means to Timor-Leste to go in front here. Good play, the build-up from Azario as well, who wasn't phased, just held the ball up, and that's a perfect pass. Just out of the reach of Hanif, the defender, and Rangel did the rest. Timor-Leste lead by a goal to nil. John just got caught after the ball had gone. The referees played advantage. There wasn't a huge amount of advantage. They'd probably rather have the free kick for Farrugia. Back to Niski, under a little bit of pressure there from Azim. Tied it up though, Jackson Pereira. Despite the fact they've lost games, Timor-Leste, they have scored in 3 of the 4. The only one they didn't score in was a 5-0 defeat to Tajikistan. They find themselves in the unusual position of leading. It was a single goal that beat the Maldives back on the 10th of June last year. Zion Cruz, nicely taken down by Luis Figo. You can see the promise that he's got, the way he controls and moves the ball with a little bit of pace about him. Here's Brunei once again with another ball that is nowhere near its intended target. It was Harris, the man who was going through the middle. Miscued again by Azim. Just lacking that little bit of quality and composure on those final balls through the defence at the moment, Brunei, Darussalam. Rangel. Jackson Pereira. Slightly heavy from Gustavo, just asking a little bit too much of Farrugia, given away cheaply that time by Timor-Leste. They haven't made too many errors with the ball tonight. Haziq. Afi. There's Ali Nur. Given away again. Lost count of the amount of times Brunei have given the ball away. Here they come again with Zion Cruz. Well, he too unable to find a player in the same colour shirt. Cut out that time by Afi. Hanif. As we said, 6 of the players in this Brunei side do play in the Malaysian Super League with DPMM. So they are coming up against pretty good opposition each week. They were heavily beaten, DPMM, by the overall champions, Johor, but, well, most people were beaten heavily by Johor last season. Finished with a bigger goal difference. They did a points tally. Here's Farrugia. Again, screams of a foul from the crowd, but again, the man who matters, the referee, not giving it. Ball forward by Osario. This is Zion Cruz. Might have to go on his own here. And he did go on his own, but Jaime was equal to it. As Brunei players just getting a little upset with one or two of these decisions at the moment. There's 2 players down injured at the moment in yellow. Referee just checking on the well-being. Hanif is one of them. I think it was the first one that they felt was more the foul. Harry's the player just been held back to his feet. Again, another unofficial water break while the players were down injured. It will be a drop ball, I think, to restart for Brunei, unchallenged as they are these days, of course. There's that shot a moment or so ago from Zion Cruz. He didn't have too many options available. I just think he felt the challenge was coming in as well from the defender, which is why he probably released it a little bit earlier than he would have liked. And in the end, there was no real power or direction on the shot straight at the goalkeeper. Here's Ikhwan, the Brunei captain. Ball into the corner looking for Ali Nur. He just made sure that he won the throw-in. Given away again. It's turning into a frustrating evening for the home team at the moment. Still 10 minutes to go to half-time, but I'm sure Mohamed Ali Mustafa is preparing his team. Took 66 the possession for Timor-Leste. Not a single attempt yet from Brunei Darussalam, which will be the most disappointing factor for the home team. Azik with a throw. Here's Hanif. It's a better looking ball over the top this time. Again, goalkeeper read it well, though. Azim was looking to get a foot there first, but Niski quickly off his line and bowled out quickly to Farrugia. Rosario. There's space here for Luis Figo. Rangel up ahead of him. Off he goes on one of those diagonal runs again. Thiago. Farrugia. Gustavo. Zion Cruz. Gustavo looking to gain a shooting opportunity. Thiago. Luis Figo. Again twisting and turning. Stayed on his line. There's a player gone down in the penalty area. I think it's Gustavo that's gone down injured. I don't know what happened there off the ball. Referee calling on the physios. But that's one for VAR to have a look at, that there was a potential penalty challenge in there. We'll find out in a moment. You could see Gustavo's intention trying to work that ball so he could get a clear sight at goal, but there were too many yellow shirts back behind the ball. Well, they certainly won't want to lose Gustavo, who's been their most outstanding player, Timor Leste, in the first half. 19 games played in the Singapore League this season, scored a couple of goals. Well, those home supporters will be hoping their side can get back into this and at least go into the second leg level, because they'd love to take an advantage with them to KL next week. Gustavo claiming got an elbow in the ribs. It is only a corner though, but it is more pressure for Brunei to try and soak up here. We'll have to attack it without Gustavo, though, of course, having received treatment, he'll need to go off the field for a while. Oh, the referee's coming to have a look at VAR. Well, they took their time in looking at the angles here, but they are going to check for a potential penalty here. Well, this won't go down too well with the home fans if it is indeed a penalty, but there was certainly, Gustavo said he felt there was an elbow in the ribs. Well, let's see what the referee makes of it when he has a chance to have another look at it. Well, this is exactly what VAR is for, of course. There's Gustavo. Now, is there a swing of the arm into the midriff? There's certainly movement of that right arm from Haziq. Just there. Now they might look to see if there's a better angle of it, but you see Gustavo going to ground straight away. The referee was focused on the ball. Well, he's blocked him off. There's definitely a swing of the arm. He's not just blocked him, he has actually swung an arm. So we'll see how the referee interprets this. Now he's had a chance to have a look at it. Weren't too many appeals from those players around. Farrugia was right behind it. You'd have expected him maybe to give an appeal. But the referee has made his mind up. Let's see what he decides. Penalty given. So the challenge from Haziq with the arm has led to a penalty kick here for Timor Leste. Oh, it's a red card for Haziq as well. Well, you can only assume that's for violent conduct. Now, the Singaporean referee, well, that will incense Brunei. They'll probably feel that the penalty is a just enough punishment. But now they've got to play the rest of the match with only 10 men. Hazik Azim plays for Kasuka. But he's going to play no further part in this qualifier. VAR deciding that it's a penalty, and Hazik departs for a straight red card. He'll miss the second leg, of course, as well. And it is going to be a penalty. Zion Cruz is going to take it. Hasn't scored an international goal. Gets off the mark. Just under 3 minutes to go to half time. In fact, he's leaving it for Gustavo, who was the man who was fouled. So, well, Gustavo, who has got a goal to his name. But what an opportunity this is here for Timor-Leste to take a 2-0 lead. Haimi stands in his way. Well, Gustavo with the penalty, and the man who won it scores it for Timor-Leste, who go into a 2-0 lead just before half-time. And they have given themselves a real cushion now, with still over half the game to go, and Hazik's departure will facilitate a reorganisation by Brunei at half-time, you feel. Maybe make 1 or 2 changes as well, but obviously going to have to sacrifice a midfielder or a striker. But they also need to try and at least get a goal in the game as well. Timor-Leste 2 up. João Rangel with the first, Gustavo's penalty the second. Really well taken penalty, bit of trickery in the run-up, but sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, and as cool as you like from the man who took the elbow to the ribs. And those changes, I make it 9 changes in the Timor-Leste lineup to the side that played the Maldives back in March. So it's a real build from the bottom up from Zé Pedro. The only 2 players that remain from that game are Niski and Thiago da Costa, the captain. There's Harris. Europe. Looks like Afi has dropped in as a full-back now. Hanif and Ikwam will play in the middle with Ali Nur as left-back. Just about to enter 5 minutes of added time at the end of what's been a very good first half here for Timor-Leste. Afi all the way back to Haimi in goal. This is only the halfway point, don't forget, only the first leg. But an away win. Well, I say a 1-goal lead was enough for Timor-Leste last time. They drew the second leg 0-0. Put up a very good rearguard action 2 years ago. Brunei won't want to leave this one without getting at least 1 goal on the score sheet, you feel. It's a good running from Azim. Ali Nur. Afi. Away by Niski, who hasn't had a save to make in the first half. Jaime did make a couple of saves as well as conceding the 2 goals. Good ball through again. Flag stays down. It's another good save, but the flag has now gone up for offside. It ended up being a good save to deny Zion Cruz, who has missed a couple of chances. In fact, he's been denied by the goalkeeper on a couple of occasions now. Zion Cruz. Timor-Leste have played at 4 ASEAN Championships in its various guises. I'd love to make it through. Again, good decision by the assistant. Love to make it through in the first Hyundai Cup. Like a handball which has been allowed to go by the referee. Blocked by Farrugia. Just 2 previous appearances in the finals for Brunei. Good challenge, good tackle again from, or good work from Thiago in midfield. Yom. Niski. Jackson Pereira. Luis Figo. Oh, brilliantly done. Slips the ball around Ali Nur. Osario. Little flick from Gustavo, didn't quite find its mark. They've shown a real good understanding, that front line. Rangel, Zion Cruz, Gustavo with Osario just behind them. It's at times where Brunei have been watching shadows, and of course now they have a man disadvantage as well and had to reorganise at the back. Gone to a flat back 4. It's Afi. Given away again to Zion Cruz. Osario. Ali Nur. Yura. The crowd urging Brunei to get the ball forward, but again, there are only 2 men along that front line. Azim and Harris. Yura's having to play a little bit deeper now. He's bent into the gap looking for Azim, who switched sides. Well, the referee brings the first half to a close. A first half which was very good if you're a Timor-Leste fan. Not so good if you're following the home team, Brunei. João Rangel got them in front on 29 minutes before VAR intervened. Said Gustavo had been elbowed in the chest by Haziq, who was subsequently red carded. Gustavo stepped up to score the penalty a couple of minutes before the break. And in the first leg, Timor-Leste have given themselves a really good advantage here in the first leg. There's still a long way.
apa-apa, Mak?
when Thailand were the winners. Just a 2-week tournament then. It's now a month-long tournament. 9 teams are already into the group stages. These teams will fill the last spot in Group A. Vietnam, of course, the defending champions who won it 2 years ago, beating Thailand in the final. It's a very good first half from Timor Leste. Early ball in from Aswan. Looks like Jura's now gone in as a right back in the back four. Aswan will sit just in the middle. Aswan, who is one of the most experienced players in the Brunei lineup. Well, it was Rangel who scored the first goal, who along with Gustavo has been really lively for Timor Leste. And too high on that occasion. Haimi, the Brunei goalkeeper, made a couple of important saves in that first half as well to help keep the score down, denying Zion Cruz on a couple of occasions. That's a little flick off Hakemi, sends it to Azim. Here's Hakemi again, the substitute. Rid of those changes, looking to try and pay dividends for Brunei. Hakemi again. Oh, is there a shoulder charge on Azim? Well, again, it might be one for VAR to have a look at. I don't think they'll be inclined to get the referee to review that. Here's another striker. Goal! Oh, goodness me, that's just flicked the top of the bar, I think. And straight away, Brunei surround the referee to say they should have had a penalty at the other end. It's Zhao Rangel again, I think, who had that shot. But that would have been an absolutely stunning goal had it gone in. He scored a really good goal in the first half. And my feeling was it was just a little shoulder to shoulder, and Azim went over in the area. Hopefully we'll get to have a look in a moment. Well, here's the shot, and it's Rangel cutting in from that far side. Just hits the top of the post. Brilliant strike. He's relishing this opportunity here in Brunei, Rangel. So it's only his 4th cap tonight. Started his career with Norwich City's youth system. Played in the lower leagues, Barnsley, Mansfield. Also played in Portugal with Coimbra. Well, as you probably have noticed, VAR didn't even recommend a check to the referee for that little shoulder charge. Home fans are going to be upset, of course, after the penalty that was given away by VAR and the subsequent red card in the first half. Jura's header. Well, certainly the 2 substitutes have livened things up a little bit. So Aswan, who's another player from DPMM, as is Hakimi Yazid, who's come on. Both have played over 20 appearances for the national team, so adding that little bit of experience back in now into this Brunei lineup. Aswan actually started the last match against Bhutan. Ryan Yom shepherding that one away. It was unceremoniously dealt with by Azim, who's probably still a little bit upset he didn't get that penalty decision. Just need to make sure they don't lose their heads here, Brunei. Farrugia. Rosario. Jackson Pereira. Trying to just bend that one into the path of Zeon Cruz. Good defending by Ikwan. And Luis Figo with a decidedly dodgy looking throw in there. Thought that might have been a foul throw, but nothing given. Jackson Pereira. There's Thiago. Timor-Leste have won just 11 of their previous 91 internationals. This would be a really important win for them if they could get it here. Only half the job though. Here's Rosario. Luis Figo, bit of a space here for Figo. Zeon Cruz straight offside. Figo goes for goal. Good save by Haimi. Well, he couldn't play that one across because Zeon Cruz had straight offside, but Luis Figo firing that one in at the goalkeeper, who made a really good save. That's the third or fourth good save he's made, Haimi. First touch was nicely into the path. He took another couple of touches, maybe didn't need to, but good palms on that from the goalkeeper to send it over the top. Another deep corner. Rangel. Looking at shooting again, maybe here. Timor-Leste. Gustavo. Too much on that for Luis Figo. Keeper can allow that to run out of play. I thought for a second they were going to strike another one goalwards. Flipped by Hekemi. Hanif. Just forced Ikwan to backtrack towards his own goal. As Vietnam are the only team that has broken the dominance of Thailand really over the last few editions of the ASEAN Championship. Thailand went back-to-back, 2014, 2016, then Vietnam, then Thailand back-to-back again before Vietnam triumphed in 2024. There's Ikwan. Alinur. Hekemi. That's one. It's given away clumsily again by Hariz. Just feel the way that Timor-Leste have pressed at times has just unsettled that Brunei midfield into those unforced errors, really. Luis Figo again finding a bit of space with Alinur tucking inside. Just too much on it, trying to play Gustavo in, but just overhit it slightly. Timor-Leste have lost every match of all 4 of the ASEAN Championships they've actually been involved with. Conceded a lot of goals as well, 68 goals conceded in 16 matches. It would be interesting to see under Zé Pedro if they could manage to qualify, just if they manage to show an improvement in this edition. Here's Jura. As we mentioned earlier on, it's a tough group that whoever wins this will go into. Vietnam, Indonesia, Singapore and Cambodia. Hanif. Europe. Brunei just getting themselves into a bit of a mix. Jura trying a little flick and sending the ball straight out of play. Farrugia with a throw. That was Rangel beaten to the ball. Luis Figo again in space. Good challenge from Alinur that time. Referee just having a word with Hanif about something. Maybe a little niggle off the ball. Gustavo. Eric. It's been a pretty steady debut for Eric at the back. Hasn't had a huge amount of a Brunei attacking sense to deal with. Rangel. Poor ball, easily cut out by Hekeme. Jura. Lifted over the top, it was just kept in play by Azim. Another player down injured. Now there will be another stoppage. A bit of treatment is going to be required here. Timor-Leste finished bottom of their Asian qualifying group. They got through to the 3rd round of qualifying, finished level with the Maldives on 3 points, but Maldives had a slightly better goal difference, one better. 4 of their 11 international wins have come against Brunei. Edging closer to another here, just over half an hour to go of the first leg. I remind you the second leg is in Kuala Lumpur next Tuesday at KL City Stadium. Winners will be able to go away, put their feet up and have a month preparing, probably watching some World Cup football as well. Here's that challenge. It was Yom just got his foot round. If anything, I thought Azim had a little kick out at Yom. Yeah, came off worst after that. It'll be a free kick. No addition to the half-time score. Timor-Leste still leading 2-0. Goals from João Rangel after 29 minutes and a penalty from Gustavo. A little incident that saw Haziq sent off for the elbow into the chest of the Timor-Leste player. Sent the goalkeeper the wrong way from the penalty spot. Here is Rangel. Eric Silva. Jackson Pereira. Well, good challenge by Hanif that time to win the ball back. Just managing to stifle Timor-Leste's attacks at times down that far side particularly, but haven't really shown anything of themselves going forward. We are about to see another change. Here's Hakeme. Lifted over the top for Asman. A solid challenge from Jackson Pereira, but penalised by the referee that time. Looks like a double change coming up for Timor-Leste as well, for Brunei rather. Fatur is coming on for Ashraf. And Nazir is coming on for Azim. So maybe Azim picked up that knock a moment or so ago. It's the third and fourth change he's made by Brunei now in a bid to try and get themselves back into this one. Nasruddin Ismail, another of the DPMM players, has a couple of goals in 23 appearances.
Ashraf Fahmi Darussalam out.
So almost crept in very, very close, just the wrong side of the post. Hakemi felt it should be a corner. That's a good delivery. Played by Niski just in the nick of time. Headed forward again, chested off by Hakemi. Good defending again, it was just Nazir closed out. Well, those changes seem to have just put a bit of spring in the step of Brunei as they try to at least get a goal back in this match. They've got a rare corner here. 5 yellow shirts inside the penalty area, a couple lurking on the edge. Needs a good delivery. Gets a good delivery as well. Header didn't go goalwards though. Was there a handball? Yes, there was, says the referee. And a chance for Brunei to get back into this from the penalty spot. Well, I think it's Ryan John that the ball has hit. He's claiming that the arm was in a natural position. Zion Cruz can't believe it either. Well, of course, VAR will double check this, but the referee said he saw the handball, gave the penalty, and a chance for Brunei Darussalam to get back into the match. Let's have a look and see if the arm was in an unnatural position. There's the original ball coming in. Well, it's hitting quite high up the arm. The referee had a clear view, I think. It was actually Zion Cruz who hit the, well, whose arm the ball hit, but how high was that? Was that on the t-shirt line, if you like, which obviously is not a penalty, or did it hit him around the elbow, which would be a penalty? The referee waving players away. Dylan Niski waits. Goalkeeper just been told to go back on his line. A little bit of gamesmanship, but looks like it's a Keme. It's over the penalty. Now the referee has got his hand to his ear, so VAR are checking this. Oh, he's coming to have a look, so it may not be a penalty after all. Well, the doubt has been put there by VAR, and for the second time the referee will come across to the monitor and take a look. Brunei are furious. This has taken a long time once again. The ball was on the spot, everybody was ready for the penalty. Now we'll get to look. How high has that ball hit the arm? That's right at the top of the arm. Or is it? You can't really see. I think that maybe on the t-shirt line, may just be a little bit below. It happened so quickly in real time. I need to slow it down, just there. Now, where's that ball hit the arm? You see straight away the repeals from those Brunei players. This might give us a better angle. I think that has hit him on the elbow, you know. So we'll wait and see what the referee decides to do. Can stick with his original decision, of course, but VAR have obviously seen something to draw the referee's attention to it. The more you look at it from different angles, the more you think it's hit him quite high up the arm. Who'd want to be a referee in this situation? I think he's made his mind up. Let's see what he does. No penalty. No penalty given. So Brunei lose the chance to try and get a goal back from the spot. You see the reaction from those Timor-Leste players as well. Keme and Nazir are not happy about this either. Need to make sure they don't talk themselves into trouble. But it's Aman Al-Kashar, the Singaporean referee, that's in the spotlight once again for the second time tonight. But VAR is there to correct the clear and obvious errors. VAR assistant is Peshri Mongkolchai from Thailand. Sivakorn Puadon, by the way, who's the first assistant video referee tonight, is actually the referee for the second leg next week. They're underway again as the boos ring round the stadium, and it will further incense Brunei's mood now. Thought they got a glorious opportunity to get a goal back, but that's been taken away from them. Hakeme. Rangel. Figo went on a forward run, tried to feed it into Zion Cruz. Here is Cruz. Farrugia. Rangel. Heavy touch. Allowed Fatur to win it back. Ikwan. I think Harris has got a problem in the middle. He's signalling to the bench. That's more good defending again by Ryan Jom, just to shepherd that one away for the goal kick. Certainly saw Harris a moment or so ago waving over to the bench. Might have to make another change. They've made 4 already, Brunei. They'll be without Hazi, don't forget, for the second leg, having been sent off earlier. Niski needs to make sure he doesn't pick up an unnecessary yellow as well. Zion Cruz rides one challenge, rides a second challenge. Good advantage played by the referee. Bit of space down that far side. Gustavo. Farigia. Oh, he's overhit it. Rangel will do well to keep it in play, and he has done. Luis Figo. Tiago. Osario. Comfortable on the ball again, Timor-Leste tonight. Luis Figo. Oh, drop of the shoulder, haul back. That should be a yellow card and will be for Hakeme. Just a little bit of frustration creeping into Brunei's play, you feel. Figo was away there. Lovely little body roll to try and take him away from Hakeme, who just hauled him back. First yellow card of the game, having seen the red earlier. That's Farigia. Euro will just let that roll behind for a goal kick. One or two tired legs out there now. And most of these players coming towards the end of a long season, of course. Malaysian domestic season, where DPMM finished just a couple of weeks ago. So we'll get a good month's break. More than that, 6 weeks after the second leg, before the first group games. Hakeme left on his backside and complaining that should be a yellow card against Tiago, I think. Looks like Timor-Leste are preparing a couple of changes. Just want to maybe get some fresh legs on now through midfield and stem any potential comeback from Brunei. Hakeme over the free kick. Brunei are preparing their final change as well. Hakeme goes for goal. Niski, maybe he didn't see that till late, pushes the ball away. Nobody following up, and the offside flag's gone up for the rebound, or the follow-up, should I say. Here comes the change. Martin Hadi is coming on. Harris, who was signalling to the bench that he had a problem, is the player that's gone off. Martin Hadi comes on for a third appearance. There's Luis Figo. Quarter of an hour to go. Brunei, Darussalam 0, Timor-Leste 2. (2,186) inside the stadium. At the moment, most of those are going home unhappy. Luis Figo's throw. He's going to roll all the way out of play. Run by Ikwan. Pulled by Aswan, who's taken over the captain's armband now. That was Nazir. He's won the corner. Couldn't get his foot around the ball. I think that's deflected out off Luis Figo. Sense of urgency about Brunei. Have already taken the corner. Back heel from Nazir. Chipped in by Ikhwan. Just a little bit too much on it for Nazir. Niski once again, who's shown a good awareness tonight, the goalkeeper, quickly off his line once more. That shot a moment or so ago from Hakemi was the first shot I think he's had to save in the whole of the game so far, but he saw the ball late. Got across though. Yura. Looking for Aswan. Hakemi. Another ball over the top which will be plucked out by the goalkeeper before it can do any danger. Timor-Leste player gone down with a bit of cramp here. It's understandable at this late stage of the game you will get a bit of cramp creeping in. This might herald one or two changes, I think. Even with a bit of cramp, you don't want to carry players at this stage of the game when you're leading 2-0. Liam Farrugia, one of the Australian-based players that went down. There's that ball over the top from Hakemi. Bit of frustration, as you probably imagine. Looks like a double change coming up from Timor-Leste. Xavi Arate. Xavi Arate is going to come on, and Gutierrez coming on as well. Let's see who's going to be coming off. Jarangel coming off. And Osario coming off as well, so
and jersey number 8, Claudio Osorio, out.
So the first change is made by Timor-Leste. Xavi Arate is another Western Sydney Wanderers player. In fact, they're making a triple change. Aniso Correa is also coming on. Or will be in a moment. Players restarted. Thrown to Timor-Leste. It'll be taken by Farrugia. He seems okay after that little bout of cramp a moment or so ago. Thought he might have been one of the players that they were taking off just to make sure that cramp didn't cause any errors. Lovely ball to Gustavo. It was Gutierrez that was racing through the middle. Gustavo claiming that was a foul, but nothing given. Gustavo again. Thiago. Inside the final 10 minutes now. Will be a bit of added time through to that VAR. Lovely ball down the line again. Gutierrez racing after it and managing to keep the ball in play. He's full of running since coming on. Xavi Arate as well, getting in a challenge. The referee coming across to have a word with somebody again. Something said out of place maybe. Well, here comes the change. So Farrugia is actually going off now. And Aniso Correa comes on. So 3 changes in quick succession made by Zé Pedro, looking to close out this victory now ahead of the second leg. A good header by Eric. Martin. Alinur. All the way back to his goalkeeper, Haimi. Good challenge again on Nazir by Luis Figo. Well, his new look Timor-Leste team have gelled a lot better than their counterparts tonight, Brunei, who also made 9 changes. I've got a week to try and turn this around now they've seen that the way Timor-Leste play. Jackson Pereira getting that ball away. Another player down, it's Luis Figo. It's gone down, the referee calling for the stretcher straight away, feeling Timor-Leste might just be milking a few of these stoppages now, and Brunei players taking matters into their own hands. It was Nazir that tried to drag him back to his feet. Well, they've been frustrated for most of the evening, those Brunei fans. Those 2 VAR decisions didn't help. Well, they're going to make another change. And the medical staff are still sat on the bench, and the coaching staff furious that they haven't gone to sort out Luis Figo. There's another offside flag gone up, which has halted another Brunei potential attack. Looks as though Timor-Leste are going to head into the second leg with 1 foot in the Hyundai Cup. Might have another chance of another goal here. Xavier Arate. Cruz in the middle. Looks as though Anzo Correa has gone in. His centre-back Jom has now gone out wide. Here's Luis Figo. Gustavo. Double fist pump for winning a throw. That shows what this will mean to Timor-Leste if they can hang on here. There will be quite a bit of added time, I think, to go. We had 5 minutes in the first half after a VAR check. Plus second half, of course, we've had substitutions, so maybe 7 or 8 minutes. No addition to the half-time score. Timor-Leste still leading by 2-0. Luis Figo, bit of space to move into once more. 3 in the middle. Luis Figo still going. Gustavo just trying to take that one off him. And that's gone for a goal kick. I won't worry too much about that at 2-0. Sliding in there was Gutierrez, sorry. Substitutes have come on and adapted to the pace of the game straight away. Gutierrez and Xavi Arate. Here's Ikwan. Alinur. Over the top for Nazir. Again, can't miss out the first man. Now the flag goes up for offside. So it would have come to nothing if he'd managed to pick out a yellow shirt in the middle. That would have been even more frustrating. Another change coming up for Timor-Leste. And he's used his substitutions well, all about game management in the second half, late in the game from Zé Pedro. Corsino is coming on. Another youngster, just 19 years of age. It's one of the few players that plays in Timor-Leste with Koketu Dili. Anazo Correa. Jackson Pereira. Luis Figo. May have just pushed that a little bit too far ahead of himself. He's unceremoniously nudged off the ball by Nazir. Now there might be a break on with Hakeme. Well, he was fouled and well, he's gone down under the challenge of Xavi Arate. He gets a yellow card. It was a high push. He may be a little fortunate there. VAR might just want to check that. But that frustration just creeping in again into Brunei's game when the foul came. And still the pushing and shoving goes on. Hakeme again is the player that's down. He was booked earlier on and need to make sure that he doesn't pick up a second yellow. Already had Haziq sent off and still the arms are flying. The referee has finally, I think, calmed everything down, and again he's having a listen. Well, Hakeme got back to his feet, and I just wonder whether that just provoked that response from Xavi Arate. Let's have a look here. There was the challenge on Hakeme. It's clearly a foul. Straight back to his feet, and then into the chest. There's a push from Xavi Arate. No more than a yellow. And the referee handled that well, actually, because he could have easily given Hakeme a second yellow for the initial reaction, but there was no arm raised by the Brunei player. Here comes the substitution. Zion Cruz is going off to be replaced by Corsino. I think still the referee might be listening to VAR. He's still got his hand to his ear. There's the change. Corsino's on.
Jersey number 19, Alexandrio Corsino.
Just about to find out any second what the added time will be. Straight at the goalkeeper once again. It's going to be 6 minutes. Corsino. Defensive duty. Xavi Arate. Jackson Pereira. Luis Figo. Already into the 6 minutes added time. Could be a first clean sheet in 5 matches for Timor-Leste if they can keep their goal intact. Xavier Rate, Luis Figo, Gustavo, Anizo Correa, Luis Figo's onside this time, spring the trap, Figo! And they must get a third, and the flag stays down. And Timor-Leste have a third goal. It's Gutierrez, who's not been on the field long, who's made an immediate impact. And this is going down as a big, big win for Timor-Leste in this first leg. Still another 90 minutes to go, but certainly feel that 3-0 is a big, big lead to take into that second leg. And you can see exactly what it means to them. Well, it's Luis Figo again that was involved. Timed his run to perfection to get round the back. Took a touch in the middle, but Gutierrez with the simplest of tap-ins. Timor-Leste lead by 3-0 now. Well, still they're managing to defend well and keep their goal intact here. Just a few more minutes to go before they can celebrate what's been going to be a famous victory for Timor-Leste. They're still pressing forward. Gutierrez. Another shot bent goalwards from Gustavo, just wide of the target. Slipped into the gap once again. Niski quickly off his line. He's been alive to everything tonight. Dylan Niski when he's needed to be. Martin. Oh, just too far ahead of Akemi.